Okay, it says we are live. I will wait for someone to tell me they can hear me before I just keep talking. I see my husband in the chat. I'm doing this because of the faux pas with my editing software last week. And although I've gotten great recommendations for new video software, if you've ever tried out any kind of new computer program or software, there's a learning process and a learning curve. So I didn't want to wait to get Evan the Nerd's stories out. I didn't want to delay that. Since I already have it recorded, I'm going to let it I'm going to let it play out in the stream so you guys can at least hear his stories. I bumped into him on Twitter, which you'll hear in the audio because I have the audio recorded with music already because it was ready to go in a video. So last week it was supposed to go up last Saturday, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get Live Movie Maker to work, which was the free movie maker that came with the computer. That's what I've always used, and it's no longer available, and it needed an update. So long story short, I couldn't get the video out, and although I've gotten a great recommendation, shout out to Celestial Nor or Ozzy, for recommending a really good video software it's about $60. That's not bad at all. But there's a learning curve, and I know that it's going to take me a while to get stuff to look the way I want it to. And I didn't want to wait too long to get his video out. So I want to make sure you guys can hear it. We're not going to live stream for a really long time today because I have an appointment at 11 o'clock my time this morning that I have to go to. I know it's not a hair appointment, but anyway. So I'm not going to be on here very long. I wanted to make sure you guys could hear his stories. And I'm going to leave his links in the description box. I'm going to try and find them and make sure they're in there. Let's see. Hello to Football Master. If you guys know, that's my husband. Roger Hensley, good morning. Or it's good morning here anyway. James Elkins. Queen of Darkness. I wish. Probably be making more coin than I am now. That's for sure. Okay. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to let you guys just hear the audio. I thought his stories are really good. He has a ton of video series also on his subreddit. Just hundreds and hundreds of what I was going through. And he's just constantly writing. So I thought it would be a good intro with these 4 short horror stories so you guys could hear it. And I forgot to tag him on Twitter so he would know to hear his videos. Just a second here. Let me try and make sure I retweet with Oy vey. Sorry about that. 5 people watching now. I'm always curious when it says how many people are watching and only a couple people talk. Who else is watching? I'm just curious because I'm nosy, but whatever. Let me see here. I'm going to add Evan the Nerd to the tweet so he doesn't miss out on his stories being played out. Make sure I promised I would save the link for him or share the link with him. Oh, geez, I just heard myself. Okay, hopefully he'll see that. So, Football Master. Okay, so without further delay, I'm just going to push play on his audio. I think we're going to have to do a little trial run so I know that you guys can hear it. So I think I have to share the screen so that you guys can hear it. I'm not sure. So I'm going to watch for your feedback while I'm sharing it. And you guys let me know if you can hear it. Let me see here. If I push play on here, I don't think you're going to hear it unless I share the screen. Hold on a second. I almost pushed stop broadcast. Yikes. Application window. We will go with We'll just go with the chat. It'll be chatception for a second here. All right. I think I might have to, hold on a second. I can't figure out how to, I'm going to look at the chat and you tell me if you can hear this. Okay, so apparently you guys can't hear it. So I think what I have to do, yeah, I know it was windowception there for a second because I was screen sharing because I thought if I screen shared, you guys would hear it. So what I think I have to do is actually turn my computer way up, take my headset off, and let it play so you guys can just hear it. So, all right, here goes nothing. Hold on a second. Hey guys, so I bumped into this lovely writer on Twitter, and it turns out he has a treasure trove of stories just waiting to be narrated. So I hope you like this introduction into his mind's eye, as I think you will see much more coming from him on this channel. Also, I hope you watched the art and story contest video. I will link it in the description box below. I hope you all submit something. I am really looking forward to it. And now, onto the video. Enjoy. Engage, they said. It'll be fine, they said. Just a routine test, they said. It was anything but. I pushed the button that turned it on. The machine. The dimension. I started the loop. Then the observation window broke. Spiderweb cracks formed along the control panels and dissected the hypoptic amplification module. Rainbow lights swirling inside the 2 hourglass eyes. Everyone screamed, myself included. But the worst was yet to come. Something started to crackle, to buzz. A radio. A radio far older than the concept of time, of anything. Its voice came from behind the glass, echoing throughout the facility. I plugged my ears. I had to. Everything was growing more and more hazy as the scale turned black. From stable to incomprehensible. Coffee mugs and their contents floated off of the panel. Blood pooled from my nose in a floating stream of red. The radio was playing a song of little girls and mad wonderlands. A song, a signal, a static. It all faded into black, and the sound of soft flesh being ripped apart. One at a time, we walked up those winding, twisting stairs. The sound of music flowed sweetly from the top of the structure. We didn't recognize the tune. It wasn't exactly musical notes in general. It was humming. Light humming. A little girl. At least, that's what most of us had thought. Jeremy was the first one to go up. He was always the bravest one out of our group. But he screamed when he got to the top. He never screamed before. Never. Not at the various scary movies that his older brother had shown us every Halloween. Not at the pranks that his brother had played on him, jumping out of the curtains with a generic Jason hockey mask and a plastic chainsaw. He never screamed. His screams were loud like glass. I froze in place while the others stared up at the darkness. Tony prayed to God. Henry muttered to himself something about breaking bones. Breaking bones and shattered glass. I couldn't really make out what he was saying, though. The humming grew louder with every second. Every second spent listening to his screams and his bleeding. His screams eventually melted into the humming. Then there was more humming. More humming by a little girl waiting above us on the darker floors of the abandoned lighthouse. We stood around for a couple of minutes, waiting for something to happen. For Jeremy to come running down the stairs with his pants soaked with piss and tears flowing down his cheeks. We waited until we couldn't have waited any longer. And one by one, we followed the music up those twisted, blood-stained stairs. A storm is raging outside. Thunder blasts through the air like a cannon. The light pitter-patter of rain hitting the pavement is my only salvation from falling asleep. I can't fall asleep. Not with it there. I don't know exactly what it is exactly, but I know that it isn't human, even if it looks like a naked man. A very pale, thin man. It has no eyes, just pits of darkness that stare at me unblinking. It's smiling, and I can see its teeth, thousands of needles glistening in a flash of lightning. It's waiting for me to fall asleep, waiting for me to doze off. It's been sitting on the edge of my bed for an hour, tapping my foot every once in a while with its claws, whispering to me. I can hear it. A faint whisper saying, "Have you gone to sleep?" Boredom. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? Pretty ironic, if you ask me. It's amazing and quite unbelievable that in this day and age, when electronics and books and basic human interaction are so prevalent, we'd feel disinterested in our surroundings. There are things we could do to pass the time, and yet we still find ourselves without stimulation. I'm not here to preach about humanity, though. You probably knew all of this already. You are a human, after all. Rather, I'm here to introduce an idea. One that has probably escaped your attention for a long time. What if the concept of boredom is not just restricted to humanity? What if the cosmic forces, the things that swim through a black sludge infected by stars and planets and universes suffer from boredom as well. A being so all-knowing and so all-powerful in our reality that there isn't anything it can't and hasn't done. Satisfaction begets obsession. You do something that brings you fun, and suddenly you do said action over and over again in an attempt to replicate the emotional high. And over time, the emotional reward fades until you can't feel anything. You run and find something else. The cycle continues. Why can't an entity with an indifferent attitude towards the physical realm participate in a similar ritual? What if an entity created reality and the human race and has lost interest in us? What if said entity has immense cosmic powers that are beyond our understanding and transcendent of mere dimensions? What if it can destroy a universe without a care? What if the destruction of a single universe isn't enough? If humans repeat an action that is entertaining, then can we stop a god from destroying our world? Boredom. It is an interesting concept, indeed. And this is where I come back in. I'll test it out and see if you guys can hear me. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hope you guys like those stories. Thought they were so good. And Evan the Nerd has so many more. I'm going to wait for a response that you guys can hear me before I keep talking, actually. So I'm not talking to myself. Can you hear me? Okay, check. Okay, so I was explaining in the beginning, Evan, so I'm glad you came. Okay, good. Thank you, Roger. There's always a learning curve when you get new software, and I didn't want to delay Evan's stories getting out there and being heard. Evan, I don't know how many times your stories have been narrated. Most people from Reddit have had tons of their stories narrated. But I feel like when you're a writer, it's important that you're recognized. I mean, you're the creative writer in this scenario, so I want to make sure that you get exposure. It's one of my favorite things to do. It gives me immense joy to do this. But again, I have so many other things going on that it's hard to find time to do it. And I already had this recorded last week. And for those that haven't heard that, my video editing software took a crap on me. And Ozzy the Myth, or Celestial Nora, as some of you might know him, told me to get a specific software. So I'm going to learn that inside and out before I put a video up, because I'm slightly picky as to the appearance of it, because I'm an audiophile. If you guys don't know what that is, I immensely enjoy sound, but I like a different visual with mine. You know, to each his own when it comes to making videos. But I like something different for the video background. And thank God there's a ton of free footage channels on YouTube for me to put together with the story and the audio and the music. Again, there's tons of free music to use. I always give credit where credit is due. Even when it says no attribution necessary, I still put the title and the writer of the music in, because I feel like they should still get credit for the stuff that they do. Yes, I do. If you want to send anything, all of my social media links are always in the description box. I'm going to look at my description box down here. So in the description box, and you might have to refresh it to see this, because I did this once the stream started. I put all of Evan the Nerd's links here on Twitter, Reddit, and Wattpad. And then down you'll see Patreon and everyone that's involved with Patreon. Audiobook links. And then below that you will see Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, SoundCloud, and my email. You used to be able to send video or messages to YouTube, but they have eliminated that feature now. So I guess you can't do that. But it is DuchessDark676@gmail.com. I will type it in the chat right now, which you can probably hear me. I only have a few more minutes here, only because I still in my pajamas and I have an appointment at 11. Probably should brush my hair before I go. Hello, Gina Powell. How are you? I will type it and say it. Glad you caught me. I just wanted to make sure that Evan's stuff got out there because I didn't want this day to get away from me and then never find the time to make a video for him, on top of the fact that my video editing software took a crap on me. I do have a new one, but there's always a learning curve when you get something new like that, and I didn't want to delay his stories getting some exposure like they deserve to be. So check them out on Reddit. I left all the links in the description box. And if you have time today, you can get lost in his subreddit because there's so much stuff there. So I really want to thank him for giving me permission to do that. I can't wait to do more. I found some excellent writers at Reddit. And I know that there's an issue with people taking their stories. There is a free to use category there. But for some reason, I don't know, there's some people that don't take the time to just reach out. And I know that there's this sort of cloudy area that people believe that if it's on the internet, you can use it. However, Reddit has made it very clear that they are not okay with that. There's a free to use category. You can use those, but anything else you need to get permission from because they will just rip your ass apart if you don't. Rightfully so. People take a lot of time and creative juices to create their stories, and they deserve credit. You can at least try to ask, because if you try to ask someone and they never respond to you, I mean, they can at least say no. But if they never respond to you, I'm going to say go ahead and do it, and then at least they'll know that you tried to reach out to them. That's just my advice, but whatever. Oh, thank you, Evan. But one of my first series was from Nick Boddick, and he's got 2 novels out. He's got his website, tons of stuff, and he's got so much stuff, and he's given me permission for anything I want to do in the future. There was another lady that did, if you guys remember a couple years ago, Something's Wrong with My Boyfriend, or My Boyfriend's Acting Weird. I think I mixed up the titles a little bit, but I really loved that series. That was, I'm not sure which one was my first series. I'd have to go back and look. But that lady was from Reddit too. Or also, and hey, Creepypasta Goblin, holy moly. Evan's story called Waves is one of my favorite short stories ever. Such a great impact for such a tiny story. Oh, all right, let's go check it out. I have a few more minutes. I actually have an appointment this morning. Goblin, did you hear his other stories? I hope you go back and listen to the ones that I really went through there, and he's got a ton of the series, but the other lady that did the Something's Wrong with My Boyfriend or Something's Weird with My Boyfriend, she was actually getting her PhD, and she wanted to make that series into maybe a 7 or 8 part. But by part 5, she was getting overwhelmed with her studies and her workload to get her PhD. And she had to, I actually liked the way that she ended it. She ended it abruptly, and I think that's the way that story needed to end. And I just like that writers just do what they feel is right with the story, not what someone else suggests is right with the story. All right, Creepypasta Goblin, I'm going to try and find this story in here. There's a ton. Ooh, can I search? Can I search to find it? Hey, Hex Wando. I hope all of you guys watched the art and story contest video with the dates and the rules or whatever. But Hex Wando sent me fan art or art for the contest. He's the first one. and it was so good. I don't know how anyone else can top it. It's just that good. Like, I feel like I should pay him for it. I don't even think, I don't know who else is going to submit anything. Last year, I think there was, I don't know if I gave enough time last year. I gave it a nice 2-month chunk of time for people to submit things. I'm going to check in my Gmail really quickly and see if I can find if anyone else submitted anything. Sometimes a lot of stuff will go to spam. So if you guys submit something and I don't respond or say anything about it in a video, or let me know that you sent it to me so I can check my spam, because sometimes it does go to spam. I never get rid of my spam, but it's going to be hard to find it if I don't know that it came. Let me see here. So far, just Hex Wando, but it was so good. I don't know how anyone can compete with that. I'm not trying to be mean, but it was really good. Long scroll. It stopped you from linking? I wonder how I can search. Any idea what page it's on? That would probably be helpful, because there's a lot of his stories here. I mean, honestly, you could have several novels at this point, Evan. Like, you have a lot of stuff here. Shouldn't even hesitate. You should really go for it. Is this still going on? Okay, I can see myself. There's like little rings around the lips on my end, so I can see if you guys can hear me, but that doesn't mean that you guys can. Stop you from linking. Okay, I'm going to try and, it's called what now? To go back. Waves. Darkness Below. Ooh, there's so many. It was really hard to pick, quite honestly. There's just so many. Waves, Stroke of Midnight, Self-Control, Empty Box. Yeah, I hope you guys go check out his subreddit, because I'm, holy moly. My husband found something at the beach. That sounds like a good end of summer series there. I just tweeted it to you. I don't have the creative stamina. You already have it written. You literally, all you have to do is copy and paste it into the Audible. They have a format for you to submit it to. It's super simple. Like, I suggest self-publishing, because that way you get all the money, but you're going to have to like promote it. I think that's where a lot of writers get screwed over, is no one's seeing it. So you'd have to like pump it out there. I'd be more than happy to share it too. Let me check my Twitter. It's on my phone, but it won't let me link from my computer. I'm going to try and find it really quickly here. You guys can all hear me typing. My nails are really long, so there's hitting the keys. Okay. Y'all are missing out. Evan. Okay, let me see here. While we're on here, how do you guys feel about Follow Friday on Twitter? If you're not familiar, someone will put on Follow Friday and it will have like 30 or 40 or 50 people in it. And then I'll get unfollowed by average of 20 people. Thoughts? Anyone? Thoughts? Hey, Jerry, how you doing? Yes. Actually, I think you could compile some of your stories, Evan, into like, what do you call that? There's a word for it. Anthology. It can be a good thing, Evan, but when you get linked to 40 people and everyone responds multiple times, anyone that's like a producer or someone who is looking for an audio narrator, and they're trying to pay attention to your Twitter feed, so they've got your notifications on, and then all those people constantly respond, guess what they do? They unfollow you. So that means that you are now going to miss out on someone thinking of you. So it really ends up, you lose a lot of people that, you know, there's writers that I'd love to narrate their stuff. There's people that have voice acting opportunities to offer you who follow you, and then they unfollow you when you get follow Friday'd, and 50 people are constantly responding. I get the intention is fantastic. It's very thoughtful, but there are things about it that have a negative impact on your future. Oh, awesome. That's great. Okay, we have found waves. Oh, it is really short. Oh, you were right. Okay, so this will be the last thing here. This is called Creepypasta 1248 Waves. Evan the Nerd. Daddy, look! Jacob yelled. I could barely hear his voice over the heavy, constant bass of the rock and roll. What, kiddo? I asked as I plucked my earbuds out of my ears and lifted my sunglasses. Familiar beach scenery greeted me. White sand and countless folding chairs and umbrellas and people standing on the shore. It was just as hot as earlier, and just as bright. I had to squint in order to see anything. My son was inches away from my face, smiling and giggling in excitement. Daddy, look, look! He shouted. It didn't take me long to realize that he was talking about the ocean. I glanced over his shoulder, expecting to see the familiar blue water swelling and swaying and its waves gliding toward the shore. But there was just the ocean floor. Just the ocean floor for miles and miles and miles, stretching toward the horizon. Damn! I gotta save this. What is this? Tumblr. Okay, I need to learn how to like really follow Tumblr, because number one, that was really good. But number two, I look at all the comedy Tumblr stuff on Pinterest all the time. And my husband, football master there, laughs hysterically. A musician too, eh? Well, Evan, you're exposed. I think that you have to let your creative juices flow where they take you. And that's just it. I think that there's a direction or an addition to my channel that I want to add, and I'm not sure if I will or not. I'd like to start an actual video interview series where I go and spend time with people who have been through dark events and came out the other side, or maybe inspiration for people that have been through something rough, veterans, victims of crimes or disease, or something that gives hope to people that are going through something rough and are just not seeing how it can be better someday. So I don't know if I'll do that or not. Oh, on SoundCloud. All right. When this is over, which it will be in about 2 seconds here, make sure you add any links, Evan, in the comment section, because if you add it here, no one's going to see it that comes back to listen. Evan Learn says, currently uploading my 4th album this month. 2 more done recording, 1 in the process of recording. Yep, all those, James, all those. There was a series, I don't know what channel it was on. I think it was on the Learning Channel. No, it was on something else, but it was called I Survived. I think it was called I Survived, and it was people that had been through stuff like that, and they don't have it anymore. And it was really heartbreaking and rough. I'm thinking that's why they don't have it anymore, but what the heck? It's not like YouTube pays us anyway. Anyone that's horror. Unless you've got like millions of followers, which I do not. I'm grateful for what I have here. I just don't see... that's why I started Patreon and the hopes of creating HorrorTube, so I can have creative freedom and still have the possibility of people coming there. And at least, you know, if you're not going to make a living off of it, maybe you could get paid for the effort that you put into things. I think that's only fair. I see people all over YouTube doing Dollar Tree hauls that are making bank off of it. And I just don't get it. You want to pay people for idiocy. It's not idiocy because it's creative. But I see horror narrators and writers and musicians, and other people too, even bigger YouTubers, get demonetized because YouTube is basically just trying to murder itself. That's what it seems like to me. People try to reach out to YouTube. They don't respond. And that's funny because it's people's creative freedom is what built YouTube in the first place. So when you try to take that away, I don't know. I think it's trying to destroy itself from the inside out. And by the time they figure out how to fix it, it'll be too late. So anyways, Evan, make sure you link that in there. I have an appointment that I have to get ready to go to. Otherwise, I'd keep chatting with you guys. I just wanted to make sure you guys had an opportunity to listen to what I had recorded last week and was ready to put up. I should have just done this last Saturday, Evan. I should have just live streamed it. So people, I'll do that in the future. If something goes wrong with anything, I will just live stream it. I'll figure out a way and just live stream it. So anyways, with that, if no one else has anything to say, I'm going to get off of here and thank you. Say goodbye. And if you're new here, if you haven't heard how we say goodbye here, it's a little thing we do at our house, and now everyone at work is doing it. So I'm just going to say bye, bye, bye.